You may remember, not so long ago, we actually made a huge big bioactive enclosure just there. We built that with an integrated fog system. What fog system did we use? Why did we use it? This video is a full review in depth on the Swell Reptiles fogging system. We're going to cover this on our 5 topics. We're going to cover what it is and what it does, how to fit it into the actual enclosures itself, the pros and cons on using this, the cost and availability, and number 5, why is it so cheap? Cheap doesn't always mean bad. And this is a perfect example of that. We're going to start off with number 1, what is it? This is basically it. In the box you get your instructions, pull out instructions, a couple of different languages. It's quite self-explanatory, but everything you need is in there. You've got this bag here with this hose, you've got a adapter just there, and you've got a couple of suction cup adapters, and then you've got this piece of apparatus with a plug. It's got an on-off switch on the back corner, and it's got a twist dial on the front. These two bits do separate. We'll run through why that is in a bit. This creates a high humidity within higher humidity enclosure. Whichever enclosure that you add this to, it's going to dramatically increase the humidity within that enclosure. Me personally, I like it as like a morning dew effect, and you get that lovely fog coming down. I built this enclosure just here, a bioactive crested gecko build. I'm not using it for a crested gecko, I'm using it for a morning gecko. However, we built that specifically with adding one of these in mind. Now, you may look at it now and say, well, that's a bit ugly, isn't it? I don't want that inside my enclosures. Top tip, it doesn't go in your enclosures. What happens is, we'll show later when we go to install it, but that hose goes onto the top of there, up to the top, and pokes onto the top of your exoterras, your mesh topped enclosures, all that sort of stuff, and the fog seeps in that way. So this won't be in your enclosure. The mist itself that comes out isn't hot, it's not dangerous in any way, shape or form, it's just air that's got a lot more water content within that air, creating a higher humidity. But like I say, absolutely perfect for your higher humidity species and any live plant growth that you do have within that enclosure. It also helps with the cleanup crew, the bacterial biodegradable substance like leaf litter and stuff you've got in the bottom. It helps to degrade that down, getting into your substrate, fertilizing your substrate while doing that. It's just everything's perfect with one of these, and it's the reason I wanted it. I also really like the look of the mist just traipsing down into the enclosure, filling it up slowly. It just looks absolutely perfect, like a really nice forest morning dew in the morning. I love it. But like I said, that's why I wanted one built into that enclosure, so that it did have that effect. But how do you fit it? Well, it's quite simple. You've got this bag here, and you open it up, pour all the goodies out. You get one of these little clips. It's like a adapter that clips onto that hole at the top. Just push fit, nice and firm. You don't need any tools to do it, just slots on perfectly fine. This cable, now it's supposed to be 1.6 meters long. That isn't 1.6 meters long, is it? No, but that's not even fully extended. Now you've got a thick end and a thin end. The thick end tapers down into a thin end. That thick end goes on top of there, and again, push down as far as it'll go. It's not hard to do at all. Job's a good one. Now you can crunch this cable back down. It's like a corrugated one to the desired length you want. You can also add little turns into it to get around some tricky corners. But the general gist of this is to sit on top of the enclosures just like that. When this is full of water, because that's all you need to do, turn it on, the mist will come down. You've got the dial at the front of the apparatus just here to determine how much fog you actually do get. Shall we actually attach it to the enclosure and show you how to do it? First things first, we have to fill it full of water. What we do with that is we take this cowl off the top, we turn it upside down, and there's this little knob here. You unscrew it, again, it's not hard or anything, you've got a couple of rubber seals there, and you fill the water up in there. Now there has been a few reviews done in the past. Leopard Gecko, she's recently done a review. If you want to see that review, I'll link it just there. It is quite good. They say you're going to need 2 people with this because it's quite jiggly and stuff like that. Me personally, I just hold that under the tap, fill it up, put the lid back on, just like that. Make sure it's nice and tight. Again, finger tight is perfect. Then I tip it upside down and no water leaks out. Then I connect it straight onto the top of the actual unit itself. and that's it. So you don't really need two people to actually do that for you. Now for me, it's going in this enclosure here. Now you can pick it up off the top and move it around into various other enclosures. I might use it for this one. I've got a big reptibrezze over there that I'm building, so I could always tee it off and do that sort of stuff. For now, I've just put it up here, plugged it in down there, make sure it is switched off on the off switch on the back of the actual unit itself, and then it's a case of build it back up again. Put the little tongue adapter back on the top. Get your 1.6 meter hose. It comes with these little suction cups. Now I have heard these are quite tricky to actually get onto this. I don't need much in the way. They just sort of slot on like that for me anyway. And when it's not extended, it is a bit tricky. Oh, once you get it going, that's perfectly fine like that. So I'm going to get this one down quite a bit, just like that. Then you actually get two in the actual unit itself. So we'll put the other one on again, showing that it really isn't that hard once you get it over that first nook, just like that. Perfect. Now the way I'm going to work this is, I'm going to strengthen that up like that. It's going to be stuck onto the top of the enclosure with that top one. So I want it to be bent over and bent over again. Maybe add in a little bit of a space just there like that. Perfect. I'll even put one more click. There we go. That'll do perfect. Then extend that down so that I do have a bit of a gap between the two suction cups. Attach the thick end onto the top of your filter and then extend it to however you want it to go. For me, in the back corner of this enclosure, I built in a tunnel within the background. So the fog should go into the top of the tunnel and come out halfway down the background, just to give it that little glow of fog along the actual bottom. That's how I built it into this. Again, if you want to see me build this full enclosure from start to finish, I have made a big video on it. It was 20 minutes long, so if you want to watch it, be prepared. But it goes right from the start to the end. That video is linked just up there. And hey, why not subscribe? Because we're always doing videos like that. Get these suction cups, add a little bit of moisture to them and stick them to the side of the enclosure, aiming this top exit where that tunnel actually is. You don't need to use a tunnel, you can just put it on the top and it will fog down into the enclosure from the top. I just wanted to be a bit fancy when I built this enclosure. With the end result looking like this. Like I said, that isn't its final placement. That's just for the purposes of this video. When the animals are out of that and into this, because in here there is no animals at the minute, I'm letting the enclosure just have a bacterial bloom, settle in, sort of quarantine the enclosure before those animals decide to go in there. That's coming within the next week or so. You can see one of the morning geckos down there. You can see all the eggs that they've hatched up there. But yeah, so all I've done is put it there. It will be there eventually, but it's up there for now. Goes out the top, down, suction cups on the back corner there and there, straight into that back corner, which is where there's a tube going from there all the way down. That it's built into the background of this enclosure, and it comes out behind that bromeliad, a bit lower behind there. All we've got to do is go to the switch on the back, turn it on, boom. So I've got it set on about the middle sort of setting. We've got a low and a high. It can twist to however you want it to go, whatever you desire. I've just got it there for now. You can see how much water there actually is in there. There's not a lot, so you can fit quite a bit of water in here. And that's that. You can see the fog starting to come down now. Let's open it up so you can see it a bit better. There we go. See how it's coming down that back corner, but it's not just pouring in the top. So it's coming down the tube that I built, it's coming down there and then out over that little water area that we built. You can see it's dribbling down the back corner. It looks absolutely stunning. So we're going to leave it for a second and let it fill up. Again, it's still only on the middle setting. Now again, when Leopard Gecko did do her video review, she did say this felt quite cheap and tacky and like it could break quite easily. I haven't really found that with this. Yes, it does feel a bit flexible and a bit weak, but it's working perfectly fine for me. And I've had this, like I say, I've used it for a few weeks now, and it really has, I've not got a single concern with it. Now, it's not just all the adjustable features and stuff that we've talked about. The benefits with this as well is, can you see how this top isn't crystal clear? Well, it used to be clear, and you used to get a lot of algae growth throughout it. Now, I would assume that's because the sunlight coming through the window would react with the water in there, and you just get a lot of algae growth, both on the water and on the actual material itself on the inside. With it being this frosted colour, you ain't going to get that, which I absolutely love massively. Is it noisy? That's the next question I got asked. Well, look, here we go. Have a listen right now. Oh, wait there. I'll drop the background music off. Have a listen now. Can you hear that clicky noise? That clink, clink, click. All that is the timers that I've got down there. That is absolutely silent. So within a matter of minutes, I've actually turned it down onto its minimum setting. But within a matter of minutes, it's fogged up nicely. It's not really thick with fog that you can't see the animals. But that's going to settle down. If I turn it off now, it's going to settle down over time, over the duration of the next few hours or so. And then late on at night, I'm going to turn it back on again for 5 minutes. Add a little bit of fog in there. I love watching it cascade over the waterfall and off the plants and dribbling. Oh, I just love it. It looks absolutely amazing. And it gives an absolutely amazing humidity cycle for the species and the plants that are in there. As you can tell, I am pretty hyped up with this. I've been planning this build for best part of 6 months to be able to actually get all the products together and get it all put together and working really well, get really creative with it. I am properly hyped with it. But I've told you a load of pros, everything's good and this is good and that's good. But what's actually wrong with this? What are the cons? We'll start with the stuff that Rebecca at Leopard Gecko picked up on. She said this tube that runs all the way down, she said that felt quite cheap and flimsy and it was really hard to get the suction cups over it. She recommended some sort of half clips. Personally, if you contract that hose back together perfectly the whole way, they do slip on really easy, as you did see because I have shown you before. So I don't think that's too much of a problem. I suppose we're going to pick up if that is a problem over time. So make sure you do hit subscribe. If that does become a problem, I'll make a video about it because that's what I do. I love to bring you guys the most current and up-to-date information. So we'll come back to that one, I guess. Personally, I think it's going to be perfectly fine. She also had trouble with the actual hose itself. She said she put the hose on and you could see it coming across the top of the glass. Let's move this light out of the way. She said you could see it moving across the glass. And you can see we've got a little bit there, but that's not a lot in the grand scale of things. Nothing compared to what she's shown in her video. Again, that video is linked in the description down below. What do you guys think? I haven't got much of a problem with that. It's going straight down into the tube that I made and it's coming out into the enclosure, creating an amazing humidity cycle for the species throughout the day. But I do have one little issue, and it's not even a big issue, it's just I'm a perfectionist. I'm one of those nitpicky sorts of people. You can see the cable, the plug cable. Well, that goes straight into the back of the enclosure, straight down and into a plug on the extension cable just there. I wish that cable was a little bit longer, because my plugs are over in that back corner. I'm going to have to find another form of an extension lead of some description to be able to get that cable outlet over here, because that's where this unit is actually going to live eventually. So I wish that cable was just that little bit longer, or if there was some form of an extension for it. I know the Reptile Systems Pro 10 LED lights, they do have an extension, which is, I suppose that might add to the cost because this is quite inexpensive. Let's get over and talk all about the cost and availability. Cost and availability. How much is this? Where can I get it from? And Richard, do you have a discount code for us? So this product costs £33. It comes from Swell Reptiles, and we do have a 10% discount code for you guys to spend on anything from Swell Reptiles. If you go onto their website to purchase absolutely anything, use the price NE10INF. Again, all the links to this product and the discount code will all be in the first line of the description down below and pinned to the very first comment. So go over there, check it out, have a look around, have a browse, use the promo code wherever you want. Swell Reptiles have their monster markdown sale going on at the minute, so everything's dramatically reduced anyway. At the minute, at the time of filming, this product costs £33. It'll all be linked down below. But why is this product so cheap compared to everybody else's product that does the same thing as this? Because there is loads of different brands that do loads of different foggers. For a start, your big brands, you're going to be paying more money for exactly the same product anyway, because you're paying for the name, aren't you really? But Swell Reptiles do this product cheap, but it's not bad. So how can they make a cheap product? Not bad. Easily. They do it by saving money elsewhere where other companies waste money. Take, for instance, the packaging. How often do you go to a reptile branded product and it's all designed up nicely with loads of different pictures, and so they're paying for the designer, the rendering, the packaging, everything. They're paying for all that, whereas Swell Reptiles give you a white box with the padding inside it. That's it. They've saved money there. They're saving cost there to be able to save you guys money in your back pocket. I put it onto full for 5 minutes just to see what would happen. That's like a proper gloomy sort of forest, isn't it?